Hi there, my name is Kay Moon, and I'm a twin soul channel and Western astrologer. And this video contains channeled messages received from my guides about physical intimacy between twin flames. This information was given to me a while ago and is a perspective on what some twins may experience when it comes to the sexual connection versus the totality and the awareness of the totality of the fullness of the connection. This message presumes that you already know and understand the 7 core chakras of the human body, but there will be a link below if you need a refresher. This transmission was provided in very heteronormative terms when it was given to me and discussed in very heteronormative terms with the client that asked the question during live mini reading time on the K Moon Live channel. However, we all know that we both have masculine and feminine energy, regardless of the body we incarnated or are transitioning into. Please take this as it applies to you. This transmission will not apply universally to every set of twins at all times in every way. So if this does not resonate as true for you, don't try to force it to fit. It is a perspective, not the perspective. Where it doesn't feel right or aligned for you, use your intuition and your discernment and your connection and lean into why so that you can discern what's true for you in your connection. Use this as a tool to help you refine your own knowingness. Thanks so much. Let's get into it.
When it comes to the sexy time, let's talk about the sexy time, shall we? In twin connections, like there's sex and then there's like twin sex. And you guys all know that it's a different energy, a different frequency, it's a different vibration, a different feeling. Your twin does not have to be the best lover you've ever had for it to be the best sex you've ever had. And so some of what goes on, because the divine feminine gets heart activated first, if we're talking about the polaric energies, the divine feminine gets heart activated first. The divine masculine gets sacral activated first, right? And so one of the pieces of work for the feminine energy is to move the energy from just the heart into the high heart, through the throat, the third eye, the crown, and then to get it to come out of her crown, around her auric field, tuck back into her grounding cord and move up. Ground it in the root. Ground the love in the root. Ground the love in the third dimension. Bring the third dimensionality, or bring the love to the third dimension. Let it act in the way you behave, the way you choose, where you live, how you work. This is the journey for the divine feminine, is to take what we've recognized as this massive heart activation, bring it into supreme awareness of what this kind of love truly is, because it's not attachment, it's not clinging, it's not demanding or expectation that they be a certain way, show up a certain way, that they have to. As one of my clients this week put it, he was like, this is not the relationship for you if you want to sit on the couch and have kisses. I was like, that's exactly right. This ain't it. And because there's so many other things about yourself that you begin to see, about life that you begin to realize, about love that you begin to integrate and vibrate at as a divine being. And so as this energy moves up from the heart through the third eye, there's a lot of awareness that's meant to come online. But as long as we're out here wanting to make it about sitting on the couch and having kisses, we're going to find, which a lot of people who operate in the polaric divine feminine do. Are you going to commit to me or not? Are you going to be with me or not? Are we having kids or not? My eggs are getting old. Are we going to be in a relationship or not? And Leah and Sherry actually did a beautiful broadcast on this on Leah and Sherry Twin Flames on their YouTube channel about the difference between relationship and connection, right? Once this energy that's heart activated really moves up to the third eye for the divine feminine polarity, you start to realize, look, as long as you're not out here bringing me STDs, you do what you need to do. Like, I just need to protect the temple. Like, don't come in here if you're sleeping with every other person. But other than that, we can figure this out. If you want, if you know that you're not sure about kids, or you know that you need to live in your own space, or you're really clear, that you've got some things you need to sort out as a parent before you can really connect with me, figure it out. It's all good. There's a lot of freedom and a lot of space once you've really integrated what love is asking of you to integrate. It's asking us to not possess them. We don't own them. We don't own their journey. Protect the temple by all means. Like, look, you sleeping with me, you ain't sleeping with nobody else. That's just how this goes. But other than that, the rest of this is pretty, it's like this can evolve in time because the connection isn't going anywhere. And I recognize I'd rather have you in my life than out of it in any capacity than absolutely no capacity. So let's figure out what can work for both of us to operate and materialize this connection in the third dimension. And it's not going to look like your mama's relationship. It ain't going to look like your sisters or your cousins or your best friend's wedding day and marriage. A lot of those things are attachments from the third chakra, the ego dimension, that are meant to die. And this is the final step. So remember, we talked about the heart activation up through the throat, the third eye, the crown, back round to the root to the sacral to the third chakra. For many divine feminines, this is the last thing to die, is all those attachments to third dimensional constructs for their connection. Once those things are dead and gone, and they're hard to purge, right? Because you have to give up some of your dreams. You have to give up some of the fairy tales that the third dimension says you're owed as a woman. And we're not saying tolerate bad treatment. What we're talking about here is actually about honoring that the connection doesn't have definition, that it will guide us. We don't have to guide it, right? And so if bad treatment is going on, I mean, obviously take a break. You don't need to sit there for someone who's like, yeah, actually, I do want to keep sleeping with everyone else. Or yeah, actually, I'm not interested in what your feelings are. If I'm hurting you, I have found that most divine masculine counterparts actually really do give a lot of F's about hurting you. Most of them have a lot of feelings about, being less worthy of a partner for the love that you're providing them. So you'll find many of them, they'll step back. They'll be like, yeah, I can't do this with you because I'm not on that level. So I need to step back. And when they do, let them. But other than that, because they start at the sacral, that's where their activation begins. They don't know why, but they need to keep having sex with you. They feel a pull and they can't shake it. They have sex with you and some weird shit goes on in their life after that. They have sex with you and they can't stop smelling you. They have sex with you and the next thing you know, they feel you in the bed next to them or feel your body, or anytime their mind wanders off to porn land, it's your face that finally seals the deal before they get off, right? It's your energy. And so because they start at the sacral, it can take a bit of time before the heart happens, because while the ego death is the final thing for us, that's that third chakra, it is the last thing. It is the next thing for them. That third chakra, the whole ego death, the death of the entire egoic matrix that the third chakra creates as a template for who they're supposed to be as men, that has to die first. That's the very next thing that happens. Then the heart activation happens. Then the throat activation happens. But it takes them time to move through all of that. And that ego death piece for us, it's hard. It's really, really hard. It's hard for us. It's hard for them. We have a lot of things we experience prior to that third chakra part, and they experience that one first. And as you know, when you get to that part where you're out here like, I could have this man, or I could stop talking to this person and run out and get some babies before my eggs dry up, you have to really sit with that ego structure matrix programming around, well, do I want kids? Or is it more important that I have the unfoldment of this love in the way that this love wants to unfold? Why do I want kids for me? But you get the idea, right? Like maybe your counterpart doesn't want a wedding. Maybe they don't want the material expense of that. Maybe they're fine with like a courthouse thing and a move in. Are you going to throw the whole thing away because, their idea of things, materializing in the third dimension isn't yours? This relationship connection is always asking us to let go of our third dimensional attachments. And so all of that to say that because they start at the sacral, and the next thing that they have to do is die to their human man self or their human woman self, and whatever masculine attachments they had, achievement, work, money, status, a house, the car, they have to let their attachment to those things go. That's the last thing for us, first thing for them, but hardest thing for both. Because of that, you may find that they want to stay in the sexy time realm for as long as possible before they move through that ego death and then get to the heart activation part. Okay. You get what I'm saying here, that the sexy time does two things. It confirms who we are to them, especially when there's been pockets of no sexy time and then them going to explore things with other women or other men, right? When there's pockets of no sexy time and then they go do that, that actually is that's how they know. They're like, oh, it's different with her. Wonder why it's different. I don't know. Let me go over there and taste it again. It was different, but I wonder why. Let me leave. Let me go back over here and taste something else. Let me come back, taste it again. It's like they can't understand why your chocolate chip cookies are so good. They don't know. But the more they taste it, the more clear it becomes. There ain't no other cookies for me but these cookies. And I need to figure out what I need to do for these cookies to get real in my world, to stay in my world. So thank you, Alvin, for pasting that. If you see their video on connection versus relationship, Alvin, if you could paste that as well, that would be helpful for people. Or maybe just put it inside of the comment section below the video so people can find it. That would be fantastic. So the sexy time is not bad. It's one of the key ways that they receive the full divinity activation that is going to move them through the ego death, the heart activation, the throat and the high heart activation, and the third eye activation. So my counsel is always, as much as you can have it, have it. But if you're bringing kind of low vibration to it because you're going through your own ego death, then it's a really good idea to step back. If you can't be in it in a way where your love and your grace and your lusciousness isn't full and replenished, and you're savoring for this moment, not knowing if you're gonna get another moment, so just savoring this moment. If you can't bring that energy to it, then yeah, it's a great idea to stop. A great idea to stop. And like I said, the other kind of bare minimum is like, look, we got to take care of the human temple, the human vehicle. You can't be out here bringing me STDs, and I'm not going to be out here bringing you STDs. That's not to shame anyone with STDs. It's to say the body vehicle, we have to take care of it. And it's so important, especially for women, especially because of the way HPV cannot be detected in men. But it can be passed from woman to man. And then you could end up with ovarian cancer. Like, it is so important to take care of the body vehicle for this journey. And so if that bare minimum can't be met, then it's like, all right, well, look, you do you. I'll be over here doing me. But if that can be met and you have flexibility in your heart space because you've done so much other purging, then by all means, like, activate the sacral. The more the sacral gets activated, the faster they get into the ego death part of the third as the energy cycles up, out, and around. So hopefully that was a good explanation. I know it was a bit lengthy about the sex part. But I wanted you to understand that sex in the connection is very different than sex in a relationship with a boyfriend. Because whatever this person is to you, boyfriend, girlfriend, or what it looks like to the outer world, let me put it that way. Whatever this connection looks like to the outer world, you already know it is going to be much different than that. Much bigger than that, much more expansive than that, and it can't be bottled up or contained by third dimensional constructs. If it is going to thrive, it has to supersede those, and we have to be willing to rewrite those. The only way that happens is through that third chakra activation, the ego death part. Like I said, it happens last for us, but it's the first thing to happen for them. And it can be really scary and very crushing when it happens. Okay.
Thank you so much for listening. If you found something that resonated for you, please hit that like button and subscribe. This message is part of an ongoing collection of timeless channeled messages that you can find the playlist for on this YouTube channel. And if you are new and found resonance, welcome. It's great to have you here. Feel free to hit that like button and subscribe as well. I'm here at the new and the full moon with astrological guidance for the Twin Flame Collective to support your journey. Take great care and bye for now.